Hello, the reason of making this video is to help you understand what the exam would be like. I have created a closed book, closed notes, closed computer Java exam for you guys to help you understand the concept or for me to be able to see if you have understood the concepts. And as I told you that it will not be a full-fledged programming exam, rather a bunch of questions related to answer a question or complete the code or find mistakes in the code or find mistakes and fix. So some of the questions, and I've already shared with you the study guide, so that should serve a great purpose for you to see what concepts to cover. And that was pretty much based on chapter 5, where we covered if conditions, if else, if else, and then we looked at the switch case, and we looked at the conditional operator, which is the only ternary operator. So those are the kind of questions that will revolve around what we have learned in the previous classes and of course chapter 5. So questions like these could be there. For example, can you tell me what is this operator? I'm just giving you as an example, just so that to know that if you know your operators. So let me zoom in a little bit so that you can see the question a little bit better. Okay, what is this operator? So the correct answer for this one would be OR operator. Similarly, I can ask you a question. Okay, can you write how AND operator looks like in Java? So the answer to that would be 2 ampersands. That's an AND operator. Similarly, I could ask you questions like, okay, tell me what is this operator? Okay, tell me what is this operator? And you should be able to tell me that this is the greater than operator. Or I may ask you questions like, okay, can you declare an integer variable age and store 40 as a value of the variable? So since I said integer, it will be int with a lowercase I, age equals to 40 semicolon. And I could ask you to declare a character variable or a string object. It could be anything down those lines. Or I could ask you things like this, that, okay, what operator is used for single line comments? And the answer to that would be 2 slashes. So things of that nature that you have seen in your code, single line operators, multi-line operators, you have seen how to declare a variable. Or I could ask you, okay, I want you to declare 2 double variables called GPA1 and GPA2. So since I said only declare, I didn't say assign them a value. So since I already told you it's a data type, so double with a lowercase d, GPA1, comma, GPA2, semicolon. So this would be a statement like this. Or I may give you a code snippet. For example, I said, okay, if A is greater than B, then system.out.println A is greater than B. Okay. Now I may ask you to do this. Okay. For this problem, write an else for the if condition below. Display B is greater than A. So to write it correctly, what you will do is you will type else. You will write else with a lowercase e, and then you will write that B is greater than A. So this could be the completion of the code kind of a problem. Or I may ask you, okay, fix this code. So I may give you something like this. Now fix this code. Or I could say, let me give you the same problem in multiple ways. So for example, in this one, okay, identify errors in this code. So you may use your pencil or pen, whatever you want to use, and you will just simply, draw and say, okay, the first error is found around here. There is an error, problem with print. It should be print, right? And the L should be lowercase. Then you missed a double quotes, and then you missed a semicolon. So these are the mistakes that I made. But if I change this problem and say, okay, I want you to fix this code. So what you will do is you will now handwrite below this system.out.println hi, and this would be the fix for the code. So this is what I gave you, and this is what you wrote as a correct instruction. Or I may give you something down the line of a switch case. So I may give you a switch case, for example, fix this code. So let me go to the next page. We'll give you a little bit more space. Okay, so let's say I give you switch department case 1, case 2, system.out.println sales, case 3, IT, and default. Marketing. Now there's so many mistakes that I've made in this one if I ask you to fix this for me. So let me fix the same one, but when I give you something like this, and if I ask you to fix this code, then you will be writing the correct one. Number one, it is switch. So switch. Department, right? Assuming that we have already declared the variable. Okay. And or I may give you a declaration like this, for example. Or I may ask you to declare a variable and give it a value. It could be any of the many possibilities. Second of all, a switch case is always written in curly braces. You must have an opening and closing curly brace. So that's a must. So you must have an opening and a closing curly brace. Then, since department is of type integer, value cannot be in single quotes. And all cases must be followed by colon. So case 1, case 2, case 3, and also default. And then also pay attention to this. That I need to have semicolons at the end of each of these instructions. So semicolon, semicolon, semicolon. Also, I put an extra asterisk that needs to go away. Okay. Also, I forgot to close the double quotes after IT and after marketing. Okay. Indentation is not required, but if you want to, that's fine too. Also, each case, like case 1 and case 2, they're connected with an OR. But before case 3, I must have a break instruction. Otherwise, all cases will run. So that's why it's important to have a break. Similarly, I need a break right here as well. So that's how you will fix this code. So that will be considered a fixing of the code. So the problems will revolve around these. Or I may ask you, okay, write Java import instruction to import scanner class. So this we have done like 20, 30 times or more rather. So it is import with a lowercase I java.util.scanner and a semicolon. Okay. Or I may ask you, okay, what is wrong with this line? So public static void main string now you have written this or seen this so many times, you know that mains M is always lowercase and strings S is always uppercase and string is always followed by a square bracket. So that'll be the fix. So what's wrong with this? Well, you can write in text if you want to that mains M should be lowercase, strings S should be uppercase, and the square brackets are missing. So things of that kind will be asked that you would have to do on this paper-based exam, just a way for us to see that you are really understanding the concept. Because one of the things that we have noticed in the classroom that a lot of you are having syntax errors or errors that you're unable to fix yourself. And they're all related to the syntax, missing things, misspelling things, not uppercasing where it needs to be uppercase, not lowercasing where it needs to be lowercase, having the same variable misspelled in multiple places in the code, and unable to get to a point where the error is, even though the compiler shows you, okay, this is where the error is, this line number. So this will probably help us identify if you can really identify the problems, if you're getting the concepts. Because if you just know the examples we know in class but are not getting the concepts, then it's time for us to revisit those areas. If you can declare a variable of type integer called age, but you're unable to declare a variable type of integer type called number1, because I only taught you an age variable, that certainly that shows that you didn't understand the concept. Or if you can understand a double variable, but you cannot understand how to declare a byte variable or an integer variable. So it's important for us to be able to see where you stand, and that's exactly where we want to see where. And it will be a good test for you to see where you stand in terms of understanding the concepts that we have covered so far. In the coming weeks, we will be covering the last 3 remaining topics. We will be going over loops, we'll be going over arrays, and then we will be going over the methods. So before we do that, we need to be able to see where everybody is so that we can, when we are building our final month of examples, I will try to incorporate some of those areas that I see that people are still lagging before your final exam in a month. So that's what basically, I hope this helps you understand what kind of problems to expect, and we'll see you in class next week.